How's it going, everybody? My name is Noah Holly, and welcome back to another episode of the Pride Report. It is episode 19, and in today's show, I'm going to be recapping last night's games, continuing my mid-major outlook series, and much, much more. Should be a lot of fun, so without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's discuss last night's action, starting with Duke looking to bounce back and taking on Notre Dame. The Irish hung around for most of the game, but Duke exploded with a 28-4 run to hand Notre Dame their sixth straight loss. I said in yesterday's show that I didn't see Notre Dame staying competitive for long against the Blue Devils, and they proved me right. Once again, I think the Irish would be capable of accomplishing big things with everyone healthy. But until Colson and Farrell and Harvey come back, I just don't see them posing much of a challenge to the ACC's best. As for Duke, there were a lot of positives in this game, mainly Grayson Allen's play. Allen has been mired in a shooting slump since conference play began, but he took a major step forward Monday night, hitting 3 of 6 from behind the arc and 7 of 12 overall. I was really impressed by Duke's dominance late in the game as well. When Duke is on, they are an absolute thing of beauty to watch. To see all that talent work in harmony is just mesmerizing. Unless your favorite team is playing them, of course. Michigan topped Northwestern 58-47 in the Wolverines' best defensive performance to date. Very sluggish offensive performance, but they were very good defensively. I didn't watch much of this game, mainly because the first half featured some of the most sluggish basketball I've seen all year. But in the bits and pieces I did catch, I saw an awful lot of forced turnovers on Michigan's part, which meant that they had to be doing something right. Kansas handled Kansas State 70-56 in the Sunflower Showdown, jumping out to an early lead and keeping the Wildcats at bay throughout. Svi Mikhailiuk had 22, Devontae Graham had 16, and Malik Newman, who's been playing great basketball as of late, had a double-double to help the Jayhawks polish off a season sweep of their rivals. I figured this game would be close, but Kansas State just looked overmatched from the get-go. They looked almost unprepared. I don't think that they approach this game as just a normal game, but as a team driven by pure emotion based on just how badly they wanted to win this rivalry and to beat Kansas. You see that a lot in rivalries dominated by one team. It just surprised me in this particular case because I'm really high on the Wildcats right now, and I thought they had a great chance to pull off the upset on their home floor. All right, we're going to take a second and talk about the absolute mess that was Siena versus St. Peter's last night. Now, right off the bat, you have to assume that something absolutely crazy happened if I'm going to be talking about Siena and St. Peter's, and something crazy did happen. This was probably the worst college basketball game of all time. I'll explain why. Siena beat their MAAC rival 59-57 last night in 3 overtimes. That's right. In 65 minutes of play, neither team reached 60 points. Theoretically, college basketball should never shock me anymore, but this absolutely stuns me. I mean, how does this happen? Cover your ears because I'm going to read off some of these stats from this game. This is just unbelievable. Just wait. All right. Both teams shot below 32%, went a combined 10 for 45 from three-point range, and this is the worst. Made just 36 of 60 free throws. 36 of 60 free throws. How does that even happen? The game was tied at 40 heading into overtime, 45 heading into the second overtime, and 50 heading into the third and final overtime period. You know, next time one of you people whine about Virginia being boring to watch, I will refer you back to this game as a firm reminder that it could be much, much worse. In a bit of news, Miami suffered a brutal blow this morning when it was announced that Bruce Brown will undergo surgery for a foot injury and miss approximately 6 weeks. First of all, get well soon, Bruce. And second of all, this is terrible news for a Miami team that could use all the reliable scores that they have at the moment. Brown is an absolute stat stuffer and probably their best defender, so he instantly just leaves a gaping hole in the lineup. It is pivotal for the Hurricanes that Lonnie Walker just continues to put up huge numbers from here on out, or else I really don't see Miami having good positioning at all in the NCAA tournament. Let's continue our mid-major outlook series and discuss the Big South. The Big South is a very tight conference at the moment, with 5 teams either tied at first and within 1 game of the leader, so this should be a very interesting segment. I'll put the standings on screen now, and we can just kind of run through each team. First of all, we have Radford. Radford has established themselves as the team to beat with wins over preseason favorites Winthrop and UNC Asheville. Winthrop, meanwhile, lost Keon Johnson, arguably the greatest player in school history, to graduation in the offseason, but haven't suffered too steep of a drop-off thanks to the excellent play of senior Xavier Cooks. UNC Asheville has been humbled by blowout losses at the hands of Radford and Winthrop, but are still very much in the mix thanks to their tremendous backcourt duo of Ahmad Thomas and Maceo Teague. Also, you can never overlook Campbell, no matter who you are, because point guard Chris Clemons is one of the most prolific scorers in the country. If you haven't seen him play, I definitely recommend checking out some highlight or watching him play live because he is just so much fun to watch. He can probably drop 40 on you any given night. So I figure that Campbell will be a serious threat in the conference tournament. Gardner-Webb shouldn't be counted out either. There's serious congestion at the top of the Big South at the moment, but I think that Winthrop will eventually emerge as the team to beat. I'm not as high on the Eagles this season as I've been in years past, but I have less conflicting opinions about them than I have for any other team in the conference, so they're probably the safest choice for now. Of course, someone else could emerge over time. We're going to have to wait and see. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this conference shapes out. Every year, I look forward to the Big South tournament, and 27-18 is no exception. Plenty top 25 action awaits us tonight. Tuesday's slate features some of the best games of the week, so let's not waste any more time and dive right in. The big game is Clemson versus North Carolina. The two teams coming to the rematch in the midst of their roughest stretches of the season. UNC has dropped 2 in a row to Virginia Tech and North Carolina State, two teams that you would definitely expect the Tar Heels to easily handle. While Clemson is struggling to find their footing after losing superstar power forward Dante Grantham to an ACL tear last week, which has been well covered on this show. Both teams are badly in need of a win. Clemson is in need of a confidence boost, while UNC must find a way to get back on track before the home stretch of their conference schedule. I think that UNC will come out with a sense of urgency and pick up the win. However, they're going to have to do it without Jalik Felton, who was suspended by the team for undisclosed reasons earlier today. Felton only averages 2.9 points per game, but has appeared in every single game. This sudden distraction is going to make for an interesting twist in tonight's contest. As I learn more about this story, I'll be sure to update you on the show. But for now, let's go ahead and move along and discuss some of the other games tonight. That's the only top 25 matchup, but we have plenty of other intriguing contests. 23rd ranked Florida travels to Georgia at 7 p.m. on SEC Network. Florida bounced back from their surprising loss to South Carolina last week by dominating Baylor in the Big 12 SEC Challenge on Saturday, while Georgia is in a state of panic after dropping 3 in a row and sliding off the bubble. This is a huge opportunity for the Bulldogs to pick up a huge win and get back on track after losing 5 of their past 6. They also really needed to boost their resume, which is not up to par at the moment. 6th ranked Xavier will travel to face St. John's. St. John's is 0-10 in Big East play, but pushed the Musketeers to the brink a little while ago. I doubt Xavier is going to let that happen again. I expect that they win by 20 plus. Auburn travels to face Ole Miss at 9 p.m. on SEC Network after putting on a clinic versus LSU on Saturday. In other SEC action, Kentucky will host Vanderbilt at the same time on ESPN. At 7 p.m. on ESPN2, Ohio State will face Indiana in their first game since their stunning loss to Penn State on their home floor that spoiled their perfect Big Ten record. In a separate bounce-back attempt, Oklahoma will host Baylor. They haven't shown it in their past 2 games, but the Bears are tough defensively and could slow down Trae Young with their zone defense. That's going to be definitely something to watch tonight. Also, Rhode Island will take on UMass at 6:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network to round out the top 25 action. Unfortunately, that is going to wrap up this show. I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode of the Pride Report. If you did, be sure to subscribe and to turn post notifications on. That way you will know instantly when the latest episode of TPR is out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you join me tomorrow for episode 20. Hopefully I can get my bracketology out tonight. If I can, I'll be sure to break it down in tomorrow's show. I'm still working on the graphics for that segment, so if this episode turned out to be a little bit short, hopefully it was because of my decision to finish early so I could get those graphics done. Anyway, I've run out of time for today, so I'm out. I'll see ya.